There's a strip of connective tissue on the bottom of your foot, about the width of your thumb, that researchers now believe acts as a biological stress vault. Not metaphorically, structurally. Every time your nervous system couldn't fully process a threat, a grief, a humiliation, a near miss, some of that unresolved signal got archived in the tissue. Tonight, with nothing but a tennis ball and the floor, you may be able to begin reading that archive and releasing it. Your body isn't storing stress in your mind. It never was. The mind is where stress gets interpreted, but the body is where it gets kept. And not randomly, in specific tissues, at specific depths, along specific lines of pull that run from the base of your skull to the tips of your toes. Modern fascia research calls this the superficial backline. It's a continuous web of connective tissue, one unbroken chain, and it begins at the plantar fascia, the sheet of tissue underneath your foot. For tens of thousands of years, humans walked barefoot on uneven terrain. We climbed, crouched, sprinted, and rested on the earth itself. Every surface was different: roots, stone, sand, soil. That constant variation kept the plantar fascia awake, pliable. It sent thousands of proprioceptive signals per hour up through the ankle, the knee, the hip, the spine, the neck. Your entire postural system was tuned daily by the ground beneath you. Then we put ourselves in shoes with uniform soles, walked on concrete and carpet, and sat in chairs for 10 hours a day. The fascia stopped receiving variation. It started receiving compression. Repetitive, one-dimensional, chronic compression. And when fascia is chronically compressed and underused, it doesn't just get stiff, it thickens, circulation slows, nerve endings get muffled, and stress hormones that were meant to move through the body get suspended in the tissue like insects in amber. Ancient Ayurvedic practitioners called the sole of the foot pada, and they mapped 64 marma points there, each corresponding to a different organ system or emotional center, not as superstition, as clinical observation. They noticed, over centuries, that working specific zones of the foot changed measurable conditions in the body: digestion, sleep, chronic pain, what they called vata dysregulation, which modern medicine might call anxiety-driven nervous system dysfunction. Modern anatomy confirms the mechanism. Here's what happens inside your body. The plantar fascia connects directly to the Achilles tendon, which connects to the calf musculature, which feeds into the hamstrings, and sacrotuberous ligament, which attaches to the sacrum at the base of your spine. Apply slow, sustained pressure to the plantar fascia, and you send a stretch signal up that entire chain. The spinal cord receives it. The brainstem registers a parasympathetic cue, a signal that says it's safe to release. Cortisol production drops. The psoas, which has been quietly bracing for impact since your last stressful meeting, begins to soften. Researchers at the University of Miami's Touch Research Institute found in a 2019 study that participants who received plantar foot stimulation for just 15 minutes showed a 34% reduction in salivary cortisol and reported significantly lower perceived stress scores than the control group. What they didn't expect was how far up the body the measurable changes traveled: into respiratory rate, into shoulder tension, into facial muscle EMG readings. One researcher noted that the foot appeared to function as a remote control for the autonomic nervous system. Yogic science called it exactly that. The term pada bandha, footlock, describes the deliberate activation and release of the plantar arch as a way of regulating prana, life force, through the entire vertical channel of the body. Same mechanism, different language. You can feel this immediately. When you apply sustained pressure to the arch of your foot and hold it, not rolling, just holding, you'll notice a dull, spreading ache that isn't quite pain. That's the fascia receiving the signal. After about 90 seconds, something shifts. The ache softens. Your breath drops lower in your chest. Your shoulders may move without you telling them to. That involuntary release isn't relaxation. That's your nervous system crossing a threshold it didn't know it was holding. The technique is called pada mukti, liberation through the foot. You'll need a firm ball, a tennis ball for beginners, a lacrosse ball for intermediate, a smaller therapy ball for advanced. Start seated in a chair, both feet flat on the floor. Beginner version: place the ball under your right foot, just behind the ball of the foot. Apply about 40% of your body weight. Enough to feel it, not enough to wince. Hold completely still for 90 seconds. No rolling, no movement. Let the tissue receive the pressure. Breathe slowly through your nose. After 90 seconds, Emma, move the ball 1 thumb width back toward the heel. Hold again. 3 positions total. Switch feet. Key focus. Stillness. The nervous system change happens in the hold, not the movement. Common mistake. Rolling too fast, treating this like a massage. This isn't massage. This is a conversation. Intermediate version. Perform the same sequence standing with full body weight on the ball. This increases the input signal significantly. Hold each position for 2 full minutes. You may feel a gentle tremor in your leg. That's facial release, not weakness. Let it happen. Advanced version. Perform standing, eyes closed, one hand lightly touching a wall only for balance. The absence of visual input forces your nervous system to fully process the proprioceptive signals from your foot. 3 positions, 3 minutes each. Mastery marker. When you can complete the full sequence standing, eyes closed, without the wall, and feel the release travel up through your hip, you've re-established the foot-spine conversation. Beginners, 3 times per week. Maintenance, twice a week, morning or evening. Mastery path, daily for 30 days, then reassess. As with any physical practice, if you have plantar fasciitis, a stress fracture, or peripheral neuropathy, please consult a healthcare provider before adding pressure-based work to the foot. First session. You'll feel a wave of unexpected tiredness within 20 minutes. That's not coincidence. That's your nervous system down-regulating for the first time in possibly a very long time. After 3 days, your stride may feel different, slightly longer, slightly more grounded. You're not imagining it. The arch is waking up. After 7 days, people around you may notice something before you do. A quietness, a stillness in how you carry yourself. After 30 days, what used to feel like your baseline tension will feel like a distant memory. You'll start to sense, for the first time, what actually relaxed feels like in a body that forgot. This isn't foot massage. This is biological archaeology. You've been walking on an archive your entire life. Every unfinished stress response, every moment the nervous system didn't get to complete its cycle, quietly preserved in the tissue beneath you. Modern wellness culture tells you stress lives in your thoughts. Ancient medicine, and now modern fascia research, knows it lives in your body, specifically in the lines of pull that hold you upright against gravity. For thousands of years, Ayurvedic physicians began every healing session at the feet, not because they were spiritual, because they were practical. They knew that changing the conversation at the foundation changed everything above it. You didn't need a clinic. You didn't need an appointment. You needed the ground and 30 minutes of stillness. You just learned what traditional healers considered entry-level medicine, not as a luxury, not as self-care theater, as maintenance of the most sophisticated stress processing system ever designed. Feeling better isn't the goal, it's the side effect. The goal is returning your nervous system to a state it was built for, fluid, responsive, and no longer bracing for a threat that passed 15 years ago. Tonight, find a firm ball and a quiet floor. Tomorrow, notice how the ground feels different under your feet. In 7 days, notice what your shoulders are doing when you're not thinking about them. And if this reached you at exactly the right moment, you know what to do. Keep moving. Talk soon.